discrimination discourse, future fuel, and alligators aplenty. All this and more as the Stafford Weekly News starts now. Welcome to the Friday, March 24th edition of the Stafford Weekly News. I'm Randall Williams. Politics is always a thorny subject, but this year seems particularly prickly. Some of that came to the Stafford Center for a town hall meeting, and John King brings us the story.
Well, today we had the opportunity to hear from the head of CAPAC. This is the Asian Pacific Islander Caucus in Congress. And the Honorable Judy Chu brought us a message of hope and also a message of persistence. She understands that we have to be persistent, that we cannot allow ourselves to easily succumb to some of the things that are taking place. So I'm pleased that she traversed a great distance to be here with us. It seems as though, for some reason, the state legislature and the governor have decided that they're not going to support allowing public schools to be properly funded. They want vouchers now, and they want to send that money, that some of it in public schools, over to private schools. They want to make sure that when you apply for a job at a university, that diversity is not considered. So things are happening that are causing minority people to understand that maybe they're going to have to unite against some of these efforts. And that's the message of hope that Ms. Judy Chu brought to us, that we can do this together.
This town hall that is fighting against SB 147 was very, very inspirational. We heard speakers who came from all walks of life, all ethnic backgrounds, and they came together to express how strongly we need to band together in order to defeat SB 147. It is just an example of xenophobia against Asian Americans that could go even farther. And there are even proposals to stop Chinese students from going to Texas University. So if we don't stop here, it's just going to keep going. And I was so glad to bring the voice of the Congressional Asian Pacific American Caucus from Washington, D.C. to this event so that this community can know that we are backing them up all the way.
As you know, a lot of us come over here to develop the business. I mean, this is a bad bill to ban the people by the property. So I really appreciate Congresswoman Chu and then Congressman Elgin come over all the way to organize this front, united front. We have a Latino, we have a Asian American community, all of us united against this law. We must to working for this justice. So we're really glad we have this event to carry out.
It must be stopped on the local level. It's not on the local level, of course, when people buy their homes, but can you imagine a law that would say, you person who came from China, you can't buy this condo? And then letting everybody else buy it? No, that's discrimination, plain and simple. So we have to stop it at all levels, and we have to stop it now before there are repeat laws of this in other states.
Texas is earning a reputation that we might not want to have, that the people around the nation is beginning to think about Texas as a backwards thinking state as opposed to a forward thinking state. We are a diverse state, we are a diverse nation, and we're not going to get rid of that. But some people are in reverse rather than in drive. But it's going to take people, voices of justice, to vote our consciousness, to vote our values, to fight to protect our values. And if we allow this kind of injustice to happen to anyone, anywhere, we set ourselves up to be the next in line. So we're going to fight to victory.
There is no need to do what is being done. The federal government already has a committee on foreign investments in the United States. Let's leave it at the federal level, which is one of the reasons why we are looking at potential legislation, the Honorable Judy Chu and I and others, to preempt state laws like this and prevent 50 different states from having 50 different laws related to who can own property. We ought to have uniformity when it comes to property ownership in this country. We believe that it can be done, and we believe that we are the people who have to do it.
sea to shining sea. Oh, yeah.
Colorful classes, next.
In Stafford, diversity is not just a number, it's who we are.
When you are here, you become part of the story.
You can sleep well knowing we're always on the job and looking out for you.
It's a great place for growth and opportunity.
Tradition starts here.
We teach your children and we stick around for your grandchildren.
We are one. We are Stafford.
This is the city of Stafford, and we are one.
Student life is stressful and hectic, and HCC offered some surprisingly simple solutions to that problem at an event called Fuel for the Future.
Well, we're celebrating Nutritional Week. So at Celebrate Nutrition Week, we have an event called Fuel for the Future. With Fuel for the Future, we have it set up with local vendors coming in, advertising free samples of smoothies and shakes, physical fit, free trial workouts, informative handouts as well, some stress ball giveaways. We have the counselor on site to let you know how intertwining eating clean help the mind, body, and soul. So we have all that set up for today.
Today we're having Nutrition Week. I'm working with Shell, who's our recreational sports representative here. And so what we decided to do, we collaborated and said, okay, we know about the body, but what about the mind? So we're trying to do it from a holistic perspective, where we have vendors that come out and talk more about the body and how to handle the body. My job is to help students handle the mind part. Because if the mind's not right, the body's probably gonna not be right as well, right? So we've come up with a whole plan so we can discuss more about the biggest pull that I've noticed with students is anxiety and depression. How does that affect our body? How does that affect our mood in regards to eating? And can we eat different foods to help improve our mood? So that's kind of like piggybacking off each other to come up with a holistic plan to help students on both ends, with the mind and the body.
So today we are out at this event with HCC to promote health and wellness. I'm a family and community health agent, and some of my areas are chronic disease prevention and management, diabetes, hypertension, and overall health and wellness. We have a program titled Walk Across Texas, and it is a team of 8 who commit to walking 833 miles collectively over 8 weeks. And we started on March 12th, and we will end on May 6th. But the goal is, after a team has been walking, or individuals have been walking for 8 weeks, they will continue the healthy habit of exercise. Today we have our smoothie bike, which is very popular. So we have a little simple recipe. We put all the ingredients in the pitcher, and the pitcher is placed on the bike, and you're able to pedal, and it makes a smoothie. Other things that you can do with it, you can make hummus. Anything that goes into a blender can be used on this bike. It's a real popular activity to take out to events like this.
Well, with Rec Sports, we cover everything from fitness and wellness to sports, intramural sports, club sports. We do board gaming, outdoor gaming, so anything physically fit, mentally can help you be physically fit. That's what we are involved with as recreational sports specialists. HCC Presence website is where you can get upcoming events and activities that's going on in the future from other campuses of HCC with other rec sports specialists as well. The director, Tiffany Lang, is another contact where you can contact her and get other information as well for any upcoming events that we're having. Indoor and outdoor events for sure.
You'd think that for spring break, kids would not want to go to class. But what if it were an art class and it was bilingual? John King went to the library to find out.
Today we're having a bilingual art program for youth from the ages of 5 up to about 15.
This kind of program gives kids kind of an introduction to the art world, and they learn tips and tricks for painting and how to recreate pictures that they see. If artwork is something they've been thinking about, it gives them a good opportunity to try it out without having a big investment. Since this is spring break, we have different programs than what we would normally have. So on a regular basis, we have children's programs like Family Story Time, Mother Goose Time, Toddler Time. But during spring break this week, we're having some special programs that are a little bit different than what we normally have. This particular one is bilingual English and Spanish. So while the kids are learning painting techniques, they're also learning some Spanish phrases also.
Amarillo. 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 That's how we say yellow in Spanish.
We're always excited to have kids come to the library. It's very rewarding for us to see the enjoyment in their eyes and the excitement and the new experiences that they're able to do. We encourage kids from age birth on up to come to the library. Our Mother Goose Time is for infants from 1 month to 12 months old, as long as they're pre-walking. We have a 1,000 books before kindergarten program. It's an online program. It's self-paced, where families can read to their kids from birth up until preschool, and it helps kids build their vocabulary. They hear words, and it's a great way for parents to bond with their children also.
And I'm going to teach you guys how to say blue in Spanish. You guys ready?
Yes. Azul.
Azul. He already knows. He's a pro. How do you say it, guys?
Azul.
Azul. Good job, guys.
Coming up in April, we have an Earth Day Festival at George Memorial Library. And this is for families with children of all ages, and there's different programs planned throughout the day, including a performance by Tom's Fun Band in the outdoor amphitheater there. All the programs are free and open to the public, so we encourage everyone to come out. We encourage everybody to support the library by becoming a friend of the library. Just ask at the reference desk and they can give you an application. And this is a great way, all the materials that come from our programs, and sometimes we have the presenters, the funds often come from the Friends of the Library, so it's a great way to support the library. Be sure to check our online calendar on our website, and the website is www.fortbend.lib.tx.us. It's Fort Bend County Libraries. And look at our online calendar, and you can pull up any particular branch, whichever is closest to you, and see all the programs that are available.
Saving the bees, next.
You can try, but you won't find another city like Stafford, Texas.
Serving our community just like you like it.
Taking care of you and your home since 1945.
We believe in STEM to learn and STEM to earn.
We're heading into college certified and career ready.
As a former student of Stafford, I take pride in keeping our classrooms safe.
We are Stafford, we are one.
Another activity for families during the week of spring break was held at the Fort Bend Museum, and this one involved alligators.
So this week for spring break, we have different events every day, hands-on STEAM activities, because our theme is nature, Texas nature, natural Texas. And we wanted an event for the community to be able to come in and explore our grounds and get them interested in history. We have animal habitats, animal adaptations, life cycle of birds. We have explored bees and the honey making process. We have made mini gardens, and we made flowers with the Fort Bend Master Gardeners and learned about gardening. So we are doing a similar program this summer in the month of July. So every Tuesday and Saturday, we will be talking about architecture through the decades. And we will have the same kind of flexible rotations, lots of hands-on activities. And it's $5 because we want to make it affordable for our community. And members are free. So if you get a membership for your family, you can come every single day and it is free.
invited to the Fort Bend Museum to kind of showcase the state park. We're about 30 minutes away from here, and we just love telling everyone about what all we have to offer you guys. We have, of course, all our alligators. We also have a ton of different birds and wildlife that you can see out on our trails. We have about 35 miles of trails that you can bike or hike on. And it's just an overall magical and beautiful place that I love, love, love telling people about. So we have about 300 to 350 adult alligators in the state park. That's about 6 foot or larger. So anything below that was not counted for that survey. So we do have a very large population of alligators. What's really amazing about them is that they're very timid animals. They really don't care much about people. They'd much rather be in the water and away from us. So it's actually a pretty safe place to walk around. We've been open since 1984, and we've had 0 instances with alligator attacks in the park. And we're very proud of that because we don't feed the alligators, and they all have a nice, natural, wild appetite, and they would just much rather be basking on the side of the trail than doing anything with anybody else. So we're really lucky and really happy to have those guys out there.
Here at the Fort Bend Museum, we want to make sure that the community feels like this is their space. And so our goal is to create programming that allows them to come in and explore, and we want them to take a look around and get involved in their communities. And one way to do that is to bring in outside organizations so that we can all learn a little more about the people that make up this beautiful community. So that's what this programming is all about.
Water is a valuable natural resource, yet many people don't realize how valuable. Fernando Ramirez found out at the Houston Museum of Natural Science in Sugar Land.
Oceanbound is a really cool experience. Most of us know that when we turn on our faucet, water comes out. But where does that water go after we're done using it is a question that has a little bit of mystery about it. This exhibit is all about shedding some light on that mysterious process, on really where does water go, how is it treated, how is it processed, and how does that relate to our environments and our natural resources. Water is often seen as a very endless resource here on this planet. After all, most of our planet is covered in it. But freshwater is a much smaller section of the majority of saltwater that's there. This exhibit tries to show how all of that happens, everything from ocean currents to rainfalls, how water collects in different regions around the US, how cities and civilizations in particular take that precious resources, process it, recycle it, purify it, and have it ready to use for our consumption. The exhibit has a ton of interactives. We created this exhibit to be friendly for all ages. It doesn't matter if you're an adult or a child. A lot of it is hands-on, a lot of it is interactive. Some of my favorite exhibits would be how humans use water. We've got weights, games to play, buttons to press, all kinds of really cool interactives throughout. So it's definitely going to keep a lot of enjoyment and entertainment at the front, and you're going to learn something.
The museum at Sugar Land brings in a special exhibit 1 to 2 times a year. And these are generally traveling exhibits that are on a subject that we think is really compelling and would be of interest to our visitors. So for the spring, we had been exploring this exhibit on water. Most people don't realize what an important resource water is and actually how scarce it is worldwide. And so we decided that bringing in Oceanbound, which is an exhibit about watersheds, about how water goes through the cycle and basically ends up in your home. You know, we turn the tap, but we don't always think about where that water comes from. And that is what this exhibit addresses in part. And also it talks about conservation, and it talks about what people can do, what actions they can take in their everyday lives to affect the supply of water in their communities.
Not only is water such an important part of our health, the water is such a vague term of H2O. Usually there are so many other ingredients that are involved in it that differ from region to region, as well as understanding that water isn't an endless resource, and there needs to be active implements, engagements, and policies around making sure that that very, very important resource does not ever fall below where we need it to be. the infrastructure, the machinery, the technology, and the amount of people who devote their entire lives to this one resource. That it's a very big project that will involve everybody to make sure that it's done properly and continues to be done properly. This exhibit will be here till pretty much the start of summer. If you haven't seen it yet, please come down and see it. We would absolutely love to answer your questions if you had any. And if you'd like to be a part of the process and the solution moving forward of water and resources here in the city of Sugar Land, definitely stop by.
This is Texas. We grow up hearing and learning about cowboys, but so few of us have actually experienced what real cowboys were all about. As Fernando Ramirez tells us, that experience is as close as the George Ranch.
Today we did some cooking right here at the pit. We made some coffee, we made some biscuits, we made some sausage and some onions. We have to manage fire and coals. All of our cooking's done off a cast iron here on not open fire, but a hardwood fire where we actually create white hot coals and then rake that to the sides of our cast iron. Combination with the weather that we're having, nice and cold and rainy and windy, it's hard to keep a nice hot fire going and making sure everything, especially the biscuits, making sure they cook evenly around. It requires constant monitoring and constant checking on how evenly the cast iron's cooking is in relation to the coals that you're using. A lot of folks come and they're they've seen it maybe through social media somehow, but they've never seen it in person. They've never experienced the sights and the smells of everything happening. A lot of curiosity there. People are kind of enthralled by the nature of the work. It's fun. It's fun doing performances and demonstrations and help educating the public. Because it's a very small subsect of the culture of here of Texas and of really the United States. It's hard to see cowboys. That's not something portrayed in movies or Hollywood. So having us out here and having the crew help work and put the most authentic kind of demonstrations on that we can is great for us. I really enjoy it, and I look forward to keep doing it as long as I can.
So I've been coming out, volunteer out here as a cowboy. I've been coming out for about 7 or 8 years now. Originally got started in this. My daughter worked out here and called me one time and said that they needed a little help. They needed somebody who knew how to ride a horse and just a little help with cattle. And I came out, and my daughter has since moved on, but here I am. I still come out every single Saturday and help these guys out. And just I like to show what Texas history is about.
We try to replicate as authentic of a working scenario as we can. It's different than a rodeo. We're not here for prize money or for belt buckles. We're here solely for the benefit of the cattle. That being said, we do have to handle them with a certain amount of ease and care. These animals are roped a couple of times, so we have to make sure that their health is kind of kept at the top standard because they are presented to the public.
As a cowboy, we give demonstrations on roping and riding horses and working cattle and everything that a typical cowboy would do. I think it's very important. I think that the general public, especially in this area of the country, I don't think we get a lot of folks from the metropolitan area out of Houston. I don't think they understand the cowboy lifestyle or what it's like even just being out in the country. And I think that's what built this state and built this country was cowboys. And I think it's very important for them to understand that history and see a piece of it. Well, this crew is great. I mean, I love coming out here. This is, like I said, I spend my days during the week in an office, and I very much look forward to coming out here. This crew's almost like a second family to me. These guys, we spend a lot of time together. We talk back to each other and have a good time. We rib each other a little bit, but it's a good crew, and I love being around them. They're all very passionate about what they do. Oh, you got to come see it. The kids will love it. I think it's the greatest thing for around the junior high age kids to see this stuff. Come out, there's a lot of history to be learned. It's a lot of neat stuff to see, a lot of neat experiences. Not only, you can watch TV and YouTube all day long, but until you can experience the sights and the smells and the actual and everything in first person, you'll never understand it. So come on out and visit us.
That's a wrap on our news for this week. Thank you for joining us. For everyone here at Stafford Weekly News, I'm Randall Williams. May all your news be good news. This program was produced on the Stafford campus of Houston Community College.